When it comes to raw emotion and fierce competition, not many names make headlines like Max Verstappen. Known for his powerful driving and unrepentant outspokenness, Verstappen is not new to controversy. Recently, after the very organisation governing the Formula One sport penalised him for swearing during a press conference, he finds himself in a loggerhead with the FIA. Now the stakes are higher. What Verstappen deemed as freedom of expression is challenging the rule of what's acceptable in Formula One. As emotion runs high both on and off the track, Verstappen's snub on what the FIA considered to be the rule has led the governing body on a language crackdown that has a larger debate on whether the sport is too restrictive. With drivers facing forceful pressures at breakneck speed, a few outbursts are inevitable, but as Verstappen leads the pack, this fight could either change how the rules of the game are played or see one of Formula One's biggest stars pushed to the edge of walking away from the sport he has dominated. It all started with a single cuss word. Max Verstappen, under the stress of post-race emotion at the Singapore Grand Prix, let slip a curse word while chatting on his car's performance. That moment of raw frustration quickly turned into a much larger controversy as the FIA handed him a penalty for what they considered inappropriate language. But Verstappen, known for his unapologetic approach during and after racing, didn't back down. Instead, he considered the penalty as ridiculous, pointing out that swearing during high-pitch racing should not be the focus of discussion, but the FIA's obsession with inconsequential matters when the real emotions of racing were at play. Verstappen's position was not just to defend his own action. It was a shot at the FIA on its increasing attempts to police and regulate the sport's authenticity. For the Dutchman, it wasn't about his foul language, but about the freedom for drivers to express themselves in the heat of competition. The real question, as Verstappen noted, is whether the FIA is going too far in sanitizing Formula One. His vocal boldness has generated a larger conversation about how much regulation is too much, and whether the sport is getting outdated with the passion and unfiltered energy that defines it. For Max Verstappen, the issue of swearing in Formula One goes beyond using simple, harmless words. It's about reality. To Max, racing is very emotional, and drivers need the freedom to express their frustrations, victories, and defeat without any reprimand. Verstappen believes that when you penalise a driver for using a curse word, you are trying to turn them into emotionless robots, with intent to deprive the sport of what makes it exhilarating. Verstappen's stance is that swearing is a natural reaction in high-pressure situations, and it doesn't take away from the profession of the sport. Instead, it adds to the exciting moments that the fans crave. "We are not robots," he said in a recent interview. "The adrenaline, the passion, that's what people come to see. We shouldn't have to filter our emotions just because someone in an office thinks it's inappropriate." As the head of the movement against overregulation, Verstappen has gained support both from fans and fellow drivers. The swearing controversy is turning into a sign of something bigger coming to Formula One. How much control should the FIA have over what drivers say or do? For Verstappen, the answer is clear. The FIA, led by its president Mohammed Ben Sulayem, looked at things differently from Verstappen. For the governing body, maintaining a sense of professionalism is germane to the image of Formula One. His message is clear. Formula One is a global sport with millions of viewers, and there is no place for foul language, especially as it is a sport with a worldwide appeal. By broadcasting team radio communications and press conferences in their entirety, the FIA believes it's giving fans an inside look at the strategies, challenges, and emotions of drivers and teams. Ben Sulayem's response to Verstappen's outburst was fast. While he agreed with Verstappen that emotions run high in Formula One, he made it clear that the rules are in place for a reason. This is motorsport, not a rap concert. For the FIA, the objective is clear: to maintain a high standard of professionalism without stifling the growth that makes Formula One great. As Verstappen becomes the face of the swearing debate, he's not alone on the issue. Other drivers have also expressed their frustration with FIA's crackdown on language, viewing it as yet another attempt at overregulating the sport. Drivers like Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have made fun of the situation, turning the swearing controversy into a joke among themselves. After the Singapore Grand Prix, Piastri hilariously asked Norris to describe a near-crash moment without using any swear words, much to the amusement of the fans. But behind the joke lies a serious issue. Many drivers believe that the FIA is taking too much freedom from the sport, and this will take the fun out of Formula One. This is not the first time the governing body has been criticised for its regulation. In recent years, the FIA has introduced some rules that many see as overbearing. One notable among the rules was when the FIA imposed restrictions on drivers wearing jewellery during races, a move many thought was directed at Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton, who famously tried stopping the ban, argued that the ban was overstepping its jurisdiction by trying to control what the drivers wear. The incident is a flashpoint in the growing debate about how much control the FIA should have over drivers' personal choices. And now with the swearing controversy, the same issue has come to the forefront once more. For many drivers, the frustration is increasing with FIA's regulations. Whether it's jewellery, swearing, or other personal expressions, the FIA's attempt to sanitize the sport is stripping the drivers of their individuality. And for an emotional sport like Formula One, that's a dangerous path to tread. Max Verstappen's battle with the FIA goes far beyond the swearing rule. It's about the soul of Formula One. However, with the increasing focus on regulation and control, there's a growing concern that Formula One is losing the raw, unfiltered advantage that made it the passionate sport it is. With the significant changes that Formula One have undergone in recent years, from new car designs to a robust media image, it's becoming obvious that the sport is becoming too sanitized and too controlled. Verstappen's fight against the FIA swearing penalty is just the beginning of how drivers are pushing back against this trend. For Verstappen and his supporters, the question is, will Formula One keep on accepting the passion and the intensity that makes it great? Or will the FIA's growing influence turn it into an over-regulated, emotionless competition? As Max Verstappen's swearing controversy against the FIA continues to be a flashpoint, it's obvious that this is more than a debate about language. It's a fight for the future of Formula One. For Verstappen, the solution is clear. Drivers need the freedom to be themselves, to express their emotions, and to engage with the sport on a personal level. So whether swearing in press conferences or venting frustration over the radio, these things are what makes Formula One real and relatable. And should the FIA continue to clamp down on these expressions, it risks losing the very thing that makes the sport so thrilling. As the swearing debate rages on, one thing is clear. Max Verstappen is not backing down. And in a sport characterised by speed, emotion, and risk, his position against the FIA's language regulations could be the fuel that ignites a new era of freedom and expression in Formula One.